sponsor, Brand USA, my longtime friend Chris Thompson and his whole team that do such a great job. They work tirelessly to showcase the United States and all it has to offer around the world, and so important because some of the large destinations certainly have some great capability, but through Brand USA they're able to open up all of America to people and then allow people to really pinpoint where they want to promote and where's the greatest amount of clientele coming from around the world. So that's from the beaches of California to our national parks to our great cities. What we say here is travel is trade. Travel is so important. We right now have a $69 billion trade surplus. So when you hear a lot of talk about deficits and things like that, we're the one industry that contributes a huge amount to the surplus because of what you do and so many people coming here. And Brand USA is really so incremental in making that happen. The impact they have on our economy, our jobs, can't be overstated, and so important. We're working very hard to get Brand USA reauthorized. Brand USA is authorized by Congress in 5-year increments. So it's right now, it was authorized one time, we reauthorized it, and now it's right now authorized through the end of late September 2020. Our goal is to get Brand USA reauthorized this year, and we're very close, and you'll hear more about that at our press conference where we are, because as I keep saying, is Brand USA is here to stay. It's one of these things that makes so much sense and so important to America. So I'd like to just introduce my good friend and President and CEO of Brand USA, Chris Thompson. Chris?
Thank you very much. So as we move into 2019, our efforts continue to focus on the diversity of the United States, all 50 states, 5 territories in the District of Columbia. I love this map. When you look at the power of our public-private partnership around the world, when you layer our 18 offices and the activation we have in market around the world, on top of the bricks and mortar and human resource that the federal government has had and continues to have in markets we're in, and more importantly in markets that we're not, and the activities of the volunteer Visit USA committees that have been in market and for many years been carrying the water before we ever got here, together in partnership we're active with a significant footprint in 60 markets around the world. So when people say, what's the next big thing and what are you going to do next, I'd say, you know what, we're pretty deployed around the world in lots of different ways. Some of the things that were significant in the current year we're in, 2019, is we recently hired our first full-time international Brand USA employee, Mr. Colin Scrett. Where's Colin there? He's in the front row. He's our regional director in Canada, and he's based in Toronto. Canada's obviously a critical market in volume for the United States of America. He has 15 years of experience working with the travel trade. We're real excited about what Colin's going to do for us. We also kind of went a little different path as we looked at our representation footprint around the world. In South Korea, moved away from the traditional rep model, and we really hired 2 companies. One was Edelman and iConnect, and the combination of the 2 companies allows us to maintain the relationship we have with the travel trade, but then allows us to probably get more engaged in more effective ways direct to the consumer. And we're excited about the potential that this model has as for the first time in this market and what it might look like as we move that model to other markets. Our global trade development team has, in DC and around our offices all over the world, uses a variety of means to market to the travel trade community, many more than I would have time to talk about or otherwise reinforce. I think one of the significant things across this array of opportunities with this year we launched for the first time we conducted a sales mission in Mexico. Our travel trade resources include toolkits to a comprehensive travel trade website. Our mega fans over a 7-year history reached a milestone in 2019. When we complete our mega fan programs in this year, we will have taken our travel trade on immersive experiences to all 50 states, 3 of the 5 territories in the District of Columbia. So remember I talked about being lucky instead of smart. Well, this is a program that we started in the beginning of our existence and has really proved to be an effective way for us to engage our travel trade. And we're also very excited to talk about a brand new initiative. In this year, we're going to launch, for the first time ever, Brand USA Travel Week. It will take place in London in September 9th through the 13th. Brand USA Travel Week is an exclusive, USA-centric engagement opportunity for U.S. destinations to meet with the top travel trade buyers from across Europe. The 4-day format will include 3 days of one-on-one scheduled appointments with hosted buyers, along with a top-tier speaker series, an enrichment series. We're very excited about this opportunity for us to go into a very critical market in a means that's all USA-centric and really have an efficient and effective way for our partners to get to that very important audience. In terms of our cooperative marketing programs, we enjoy strong participation in our Brand USA Originals. Those are our programs where we leverage our own assets, and in our affinity programs, that's where we market across borrowed assets. We have great partnerships with companies like Euronews, Fliggy, Thomas Cook, Telegraph, WeChat, and many more. In the next few months, we will be launching a partnership with Make My Trip out of India, and we are transitioning more and more towards digital content as an effective way for us to get to direct to our consumer audience. You know, we talked about our, not too long ago, our year of tourism in India, and we are engaging more and more with India. For one, because it has a tremendous potential as a source market, but another reason is that our commerce friends, Department of Commerce friends, suggest that this market probably has great potential for future growth. This year we've worked with Spotify to sponsor its launch in India. As I mentioned before just a moment ago, we're launching a partnership with Make My Trip in India in the coming months. And we plan to take our Brand USA Travel Week concept that we're piloting this year to India next year. I also mentioned that a major initiative we inherited from U.S. Travel is the U.S.-China Tourism Leadership Summit. In September, we will host the 13th version of that summit with our great friends in Seattle. Tom Norwalk, we appreciate your commitment to making that a great event. The U.S.-China Tourism Summit is an opportunity for our partners in the federal government and the travel industry to partner and converse with their counterparts in China. And with China being the largest outbound tourism market with the greatest potential, we have a tremendous opportunity to advance that platform. So now let's get to talking about our integrated marketing. You saw a lot of that in that video. You know, we're looking at our consumer marketing strategy and how do we create and curate content in an effective way to take it straight to our consumers. Our integrated marketing efforts are focused on delivering compelling content that is easily accessible by consumers when they want it and where they want to consume it. And that's the critical part of it, with all the opportunities our campaign talks about, from mobile to giant screen and everything in between. We plan to be active on all those platforms and take those messages. It really is centered around a many voices campaign. We are a nation of many voices, and our storytelling is shifting to content told from the perspective of locals. I often say that once you know what locals know, you know the heartbeat of a community, so we're very compelling. Our visitors who actually visit become some of our best ambassadors. We have category experts across vertical lifestyle interests, and we have content creators that in their own way can tell amazing stories. So one of our newest programs and our newest campaigns is United Stories. We are a nation of many, a diverse collection of incredible stories. United Stories launched in Belfort, South Dakota. I didn't know until then, and many of you may not know, that Belfort, South Dakota is the geographic center of the United States. So when you're taking a roving content creation lab that's traveling the country in search of people and places and experiences that tell the stories of the USA, why not start in the geographic center of the United States? We're partnering with Beautiful Destinations. For those of you that know Beautiful Destinations, if you don't know them, you should know them. They're one of the most immersive and amazing creators and leveragers of that platform in the travel space. After a few test locations and the launch in South Dakota, we've been traversing the country. Our goal is to visit 2 states a month. And on this slide, you can see some of the early results of those activations, real time, generating content in market, in conjunction with our partners, helping them help us tell the stories that make each of these places really special. When you look at, you notice that we kicked it off in South Dakota with, and I love this, a branded Volkswagen bus and a branded Chevy Malibu. But of course, across the course of activation, you can see the nimbleness of the campaign, and so we branded an Airstream in Texas, to a boat in Puerto Rico, to a kayak in Asheville, North Carolina. And I invite you to come by our booth, and you can actually see the VW bus in our booth, and it's a photo opportunity with a photo booth. And we also encourage each and every one of you to contribute to the campaign and tell us about the unique experiences that you know about through hashtag United Stories. Earlier this month, we were right here in California participating and activating against the MGen Tour of California as it started in Sacramento, California, and made its way down here to Anaheim, California. Here on stage, other than you saw the Tesla, I think, right out in front of the center. That was their branded vehicle that they actually used as a content creation lab. And we added the bikes, which was obviously the theme of the campaign, and a surfboard, which is iconic and kind of defines California. So we were very excited, and I think that's a great example. Many times I think people thought and we actually talk about all the time that maybe some of our greatest values is to some of the unknown destinations that are away from the gateways, and that states like California really don't need a lot of help. But this is a great example where they saw a compelling platform that was a way to amplify their story in ways that they might be able to do on the road. They don't have to, because we're doing it in partnership with them. And speaking of partnership, we are so excited that our great friends at Marriott International saw the value in this program and have come on board as the premier hotel sponsor of the United Stories campaign. With us today is Julie Rowland, Director of Public Relations for Marriott International. I'd like to ask Julie to come up and say a few words about this campaign and their partnership with us.
Good morning, everyone. Well, thank you. Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. As Chris said, I'm here this morning on behalf of Marriott International team, but I first wanted to thank Brand USA for all that you do each and every year to help bring international tourism and travel to the United States, so thank you. We have a strong history together with Brand USA, and I'm thrilled to be working on this amazing project this year. We are excited to work together on United Stories as the official hotel sponsor because it truly aligns with our passion for inspiring travel and telling great stories. We know this collaboration will help inspire international travelers to visit the United States and experience the people and the places and the destinations that make our great country unique. This will really allow Marriott International to also showcase the breadth and depth of hotels, brands, and our variety of hotels throughout the US. Our new travel program, Marriott Bonvoy, has been integrated throughout this campaign, and we believe that all travel is good travel. So we look forward to working together to showcase the stunning destinations from here in California all the way across the country to Vermont. Thank you, and I look forward to spending more time with you this week, and I wish you all a fantastic IPW experience. Thank you.
You know, I've had the privilege of being in the DMO space for 36 plus years, and I've been at the local, state, now national level, and one of the things we know our hotel partners were always really interested in was content, because they obviously have amazing opportunities in bricks and mortar, but content defines that opportunity in each market. So I think it's a great partnership. And thank you, Marriott, very much for that. This year we expanded are expanding our Hear the Music campaign. We have 2 brand new songs, 10 brand new cities, 10 brand new artists, and let's learn a little bit more about that expansion with this quick video.
A new way to bring the destinations of the USA to life in music. And now, 10 different artists from 10 other cities have created 10 new covers. In each city, a passionate artist, immersed in tradition.
Mississippi is love.
Breaking new ground.
Austin is the city of creation.
In love with their city.
The sound of New Orleans is a story.
Chicago is a city of innovation.
Minneapolis is the city of surprises.
We asked these artists to capture the sound of their hometown in a song. 5 artists covered the iconic American disco hit, Casey and the Sunshine Band's Boogie Shoes.
I wanna put on my boogie shoes.
Just a boogie with you. Another 5 artists reimagined the global rock anthem, What I Like About You, by the Romantics.
It's what I like about you. What I like about you. It's what I like about you, baby. What I like about you. It's what I like about you.
The artists showed off off their favorite spots in town, bringing us closer to the local culture. And with every song, we learned how places inspire art. Visit theusa.com and the Go USA TV app to see the story come to life.
What makes this campaign so unique in the way it's been actualized is that not only these are amazing, aspiring artists, but they're also great storytellers. So with the power of music being the universal language, they tell the story through the interpretation of the song, and it's really turned out to be a great platform. You know, finally, the world's evolving, and we know people are consuming content in very different ways than they did even 5 years ago. 1 in 3 consumers say they'll no longer have cable TV. By 2025, half of all viewers under 32 will not pay for TV service. As we market, we need to be aware of these trends and find ways to be able to capitalize on those. So let's go back and focus on our Go USA TV channel. This platform provides us the opportunity to feature episodic content about the USA to consumers around the world. We inspire travel through entertainment. We curate entertainment-driven storytelling with a distinct sense of place, and our goal is to be the go-to channel for content featuring U.S. destinations. This slide gives you a sneak preview of some of the content that we are creating on our own, and then in some cases that we're curating with partners that have great storytelling content of their own. We invite you to stop by our booth. There's an opportunity for you to actually view some of this content and experience it right there in the booth. And as you would expect, the channel is now available on your iPhone and Android apps, downloadable, so that you can consume it there. So as we look forward to 2020 and even beyond, I'll tell you about 2 initiatives that we have coming up. One is that, as I said earlier, our Brand USA Travel Week that we plan to pilot in UK this year, we'll take for a second year to Europe, possibly in London, but maybe not, and then for the first time in India. And then the last thing I really want to focus on is, as I mentioned, McGillivray Freeman Films. We are in production and near-end production of our third, I guess, Shauna, you shouldn't say near-end because how do I know what near-end production looks like? But third giant screen film. In the spirit of our first film, National Parks Adventure, comes a film that I guess working title right now is Into America's Wild. It's a cross-country journey to scenic byways, ancient homelands, little-known gems, and hidden trails that form the tapestry of America. We are really thrilled to welcome Expedia as our partner again in this film. They have been our partner in all of our films, and so happy to have them involved with this one. Jennifer is here from Expedia, and I would like her to come up and please share a little story about their involvement with us.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm super happy to be representing Expedia Group today. We're a great company to work for, but also a company that really, truly believes in the transformative nature of travel. And super proud to be long-term partners with Brand USA, another amazing organization that we feel really shares that same belief. And we've been working with Brand USA for years, driving visitation to the U.S., I think actually ever since Brand USA was created. And this partnership has really allowed us to work with our shared partners, being the destination marketing organizations, our suppliers, the airlines, our hoteliers, attractions throughout the U.S. to not only just inspire travel, but activate and drive that incremental booking from international travelers into the United States. So I'm super delighted to be a part of this film and be able to partner with both Brand USA and McGillivray Freeman. This is just going to be such an exciting film to showcase, as Chris said, the natural tapestry of America's outdoors. Honored to have been a partner of the previous films. The first one, of course, just that amazing visual narrative of the America's national parks, followed by the beautiful stories around America's musical journeys. And I mean, this is just a natural extension in our mind of those first 2 films. And we really believe it's going to do even more to drive international visitation into the U.S. So thank you, Brand USA, for your partnership over the years, and can't wait for the film release and hope everybody gets a chance to see it. So thank you.
So as I said, the film, thank you, Jennifer. As I said, the film has a working title right now. It's the one up there in the middle, Into America's Wild. And McGillivray has been focus grouping titles for this film, as they would do among their theaters and other constituents. And we're going to give each and every one of you a chance to weigh in on informing that decision. So at our booth, you can view the trailer I'm about to show you and weigh in on what you think is the most descriptive way to title this film. Now, don't walk away thinking that you're going to decide that. What I said is you're going to help inform that. So here's a sneak peek to the trailer for the new film. What a great night last night, huh?
Yeah.
How many tweeted to all your friends and say, ha, 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 ha? Thanks, Roger. Congratulations on a great opening. Congratulations on what's sure to be another great IPW, hopefully a record IPW. And good morning to each and every one of you, and thank you for joining us. Before I get started, I want to thank our great friends and partners, Carolyn Batetta with Visit California and Jay Burris with Visit Anaheim. I think that was a spectacular evening with Disney Destinations, and to have a chance to see firsthand and VIP level Batu and Galaxy's Edge ahead of everybody else is amazing. And we're certainly looking forward to Knott's Berry Farm at the end of the week. You know, California, I think, as just a state, is a prime example of the diversity of experiences that the United States has to offer. I mean, it's diverse in geography, and from north to south, it offers so many different things. And just like the country we promote, there's a ton of people that have a lot to do with the success of Brand USA, and not the least of which is our board of directors. And we're really happy and privileged to have a few here, and I'd like to call them out and ask them when I call their name to stand up and wave and say hi. The first is Kyle Edmiston, the president and CEO of Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Convention and Visitors Bureau. Kristen Branscombe, the commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Tourism, and Mike Gallagher, who's the co-founder, co-chairman of City Pass, and I think one of the nicest guys I've ever met. If you know Mike. We appreciate the knowledge and the expertise and the counsel that you give us. Without that commitment and leadership, we wouldn't be where we are today. Second, the second group of people is the 900 organizations and companies that, by partnering with Brand USA, demonstrate their belief in our organization and their belief in our value proposition. And the other group that I would like to recognize and need to recognize, we often talk about our public-private partnership, and the second half of that partnership is our public partners. And they are here in mass at IPW. Next to our booth, to the left of it as you're facing our booth, is Federal Row. And I want to call out specifically our friends at the Department of Commerce, our really good friend, Phil Lovis, who's the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Travel and Tourism at the U.S. Department of Commerce, and is really responsible for shepherding our relationship and our national travel and tourism strategy over all of the federal government. I also need to recognize the Brand USA team. Many of them are here with us at IPW. I think between our headquarters staff and our representation are from around the world, and then our key partners, we have nearly 85 that will be manning our booth on the floor. And we also are providing an opportunity for our team that didn't get to travel to Anaheim to be able to view the press conference and be part of this morning live stream. You know, it's a privilege, and we say all the time that it's a privilege for us to be able to promote the United States of America, one of the most amazing and aspirational destinations in the world, and the passion and dedication demonstrated by my colleagues that I have the privilege of calling colleagues is something second to none. While it would be impossible for me to talk about where we've come from and over all these years, I want to pause, because I say often back in Tallahassee that I think we get so caught up in going so hard that I don't think we celebrate enough. So it would be impossible for me to talk about everything, but I'd just like to talk about each year some of the significant accomplishments. In 2010, in March of 2010, I always use this one first because this is when we came into existence, the Travel Promotion Act was passed, and I think that was the most significant thing that happened then. Much of 2011 was dedicated to setting up the structure and the governance entirely by the board of directors of what Brand USA looks like today. And it was really before they hired, or right at the front end of hiring paid staff. 2012 was the year Brand USA started to take shape. In February of 2012, we welcomed Marriott, Disney, and Best Western as our first founding partners. We retained our first international representation offices in London for the UK and Ireland, and in Berlin for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. That's the year I showed up, so I'd like to think that's a significant accomplishment. 2013, we conducted our first UK Ireland MegaFam. Sometimes, you may have heard me say, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and that was a year in the middle of the startup where we actually found something that was an amazing opportunity and an amazing platform that we now have actualized across many airline partners and many other markets. 2013 was also the first year that we had our first sales mission to India. We launched our USA Discovery program, and it's now active in 7 markets. We grew our partner base to 400 partners, and Oxford Economics did our first ROI study, and you can see across the, you can see that we had amazing, oops, I didn't catch up with myself, did I? We did have amazing ROI results in that year. As we move into 2014, we had a marketing presence in 20 countries, and we conducted our 3 MegaFams that year. The second was in UK, and the first from Germany. Our work and impact was recognized by Congress, and I like to think this is the second most significant milestone, is we were reauthorized for the first time, and it actually happened a year ahead of time, which was a great statement. In 2015, we continue to look at ways on how we add to what's been there for many ways, and how do we create value for our partners in only ways we can do. We inherited the U.S.-China Tourism Leadership Summit from U.S. Travel, and certainly China's an enormous market, largest outbound tourism market in the world, and we have that opportunity to now conduct that event. We transitioned our initial discoveramerica.com website into visittheusa.com. We developed great partnerships with companies like Expedia, Google, and the Travel Channel. We began our partnership with McGillivray-Freeman Films and started production of our very first film, which was going to help us celebrate the 100-year anniversary of our national park systems. When you get into 2016, probably most significant, that was the release of National Parks Adventure. We pre-sold 100 million tickets and arranged for screening of the film in more than 100 countries worldwide. National Park Adventure in 2016 was the highest grossing documentary film that year. It is still playing now in more than 150 theaters, including 7 locations in China, and is available to be streamed on Netflix. And I will say this is a great example, if you look at the public-private partnership, of something that we were able to do fairly early in our existence. If you think about that 100-year anniversary and how significant that was, that 100 years ago Teddy Roosevelt and John Muir stood in the redwood forests of California and said these amazing assets are things that we need to preserve and protect, and we were the first developed country to do that. And the Department of Interior and our National Park Service knew the significance, but they weren't resourced to really do it like they could, and I think this is a great example of us stepping up with an amazing story to be able to do something that was pretty significant. In 2017, we kicked off the Year of Tourism between the U.S. and India, and in recognition of that year, we actually launched our first MegaFam with Air India to India. We launched One Big Welcome for the first time that IPW was in D.C. We talked about then, with a new administration and a new focus on security, that travel is all about destinations, experiences, and people. And I think the people side of it is often the thing that is often overlooked. And we as Americans are some of the most welcoming people in the world. And we felt like that campaign, which has really morphed into our Ask a Local campaign, was a significant accomplishment there. We revitalized our visittheusa.com website, and now to have it translated into 8 languages. And we teamed up with McGillivray-Freeman Films for the second time to start production on our second big screen film, which really focused on one of our amazing assets and our amazing storytelling opportunities for many, many years, which is the story that music tells. So that brings us to 2018. So from this podium last year, I talked about a lot of things that we were looking forward to accomplish in 2018. So now I want to share a little bit of those results with you. Our global trade initiatives have great impact on our success as we take our partners directly to the travel trade-in market, and as we bring the travel trade in a number of ways to experience the USA firsthand. Our road shows, our mega fams, our trade shows, as well as our sales missions and our product fams have helped to promote thousands of destinations and experiences throughout the United States. And there now are nearly 30,000 travel agents in 7 countries that are participating in our USA Discovery program, which is our online training program that allows people to know, to reinforce not only what they do know, but to learn about new and different things that they don't know. One of the best marketing measures that we have is our partner satisfaction. In 2018, we grew our partner base to 982 partners, a 15% year-over-year increase over 2017. And 90% of them said that they would recommend Brand USA to other partners that aren't currently involved with us. We increased participation in the Brand USA Originals program by 44%. Our Inspiration Guide continues to be one of our #1 drivers of partner participation and features nearly 200 partners in 13 languages. And we worked with Fliggy in China on a Singles Day on 11/11, a Singles Day promotion, and our efforts directly attributed, and this is them telling us that, to 10 million of the $42 million in bookings that were booked in China during that campaign that year. We expanded our opportunities for partners to leverage our own marketing channels by increasing year-over-year page views and sessions by 20 and 19% respectively. These are our own channels that we deploy and market across lots of different ways, and so we were pretty proud of those increases. And the 13 multi-channel programs we launched across 9 markets featured nearly 250 destinations and travel brands. You know, we say that we have our own assets that we leverage, and then we have great partnerships with great partners that allow us to borrow assets and leverage those, and so certainly here's some great examples of that. So in 2018, we launched our Hear the Music, Experience the USA campaign. I think this was one of my favorite things we did in this year. It started with one song, Bobby Freeman's Do You Want to Dance, with 5 different artists representing 5 different genres of music from 5 different cities. We had hip-hop in Atlanta, we had electronic dance music from Denver, we had the blues from Houston, we had rock and roll from Portland, we had soul from San Juan. To amplify this campaign, we also partnered with Spotify to enhance the discovery and exploration options people had through this platform with more than 20 customized U.S. city soundscape playlists. And so this was an initiative where Spotify actually recognized the campaign, recognized the power of the platform, and actually came to us and said that they wanted to partner with us. We launched our Go USA TV channel, and after only 1 year of this OTT network, we had more than 20 shows and multiple short-form, long-form video content on the channel. On average, each international user on this channel views 11 videos and watches the channel for an average of 32 minutes. So our initial foray into this medium has really proved great results, and we're trying to figure out as we move forward how do we continue to leverage that. And also during 2018, our second giant screen film, America's Musical Journey, was launched and continues to play around the world. Hundreds of thousands of people have seen the film, and we expect that number to grow to millions by the end of this year. The film is currently playing across giant screen theaters in 17 countries. Our earned media coverage so far has totaled $100 million in advertising value based on nearly $1.5 billion in media impressions. And so far, this film has won 8 awards. So when you look at 2018 as a record year in terms of impact from our marketing efforts, we look at what the ROI was generated from that year from our friends at Oxford Economics. And we had record results in fiscal year 2018 for incremental visitor spend at $4.1 billion, total tax revenues generated at $1.17 billion, and total economic impact of $8.9 billion. So another great year, and in total, over the course of 6 years, we've had the incremental impact of 6.6 million international visitors, collective spend of just under $22 billion, federal sales tax generated at $6 billion, and nearly $48 billion in overall spend.